What amps are you bringing on the road for this tour?
They're Voodoos,
okay,
and it's an amp that it's my signature model that I've been working with Trace from Voodoo for the last 13 years or so. But I originally had him clone a 7300 watt Jose modded Marshall that I bought from Nick Mars. And that was like the greatest amp I'd ever heard at the time.
So what was it about that amp that
it was more open, and there was more clarity. It didn't have that bushy mid-range. There was no it just had so much girth to it, and not super gainy. Like a lot of Jose's stuff was so gainy, and this is not that at all. But it has more punch and whack to it than a stock 7300 watt.
And you really need an amp because you just said you use your volume a lot. Where I mean, it has to sound good when you're soloing. It has to sound good when you want an overdrive sound. It has to sound good when you want a clean sound too, right?
It's funny that you said it because for years I used. And even when I was a kid, I was using, I'd have like a 50 watt small box 50, like a 71, and I used that with an old AC30. And then I'd have a separate amp for my lead sound and a separate amp for my clean sound. You know, like, and then I had the diesels with 4 channels, and I've had the Egnator stuff with all the modular preamps. This is it's the most fun to play on, and I'm the happiest with it overall. And it's simpler than anything that I used to.
In a way, that's kind of crazy. It's just you just get it right with the tone. And, I mean, you think,
But I love these amps.
Sure, yeah. We're not saying anything about those.
It is the best sounding amp I've used, and like I said, I've got a pretty ridiculous collection of amps.
So in the 13 years with your signature model, has it been a matter of evolving that
it's just been
to dirty thing?
Yeah, fine. No, not only that, but just really finding that perfect tone of, because I'm not a real heavy gain guy, so it's that balance of finding something that's just aggressive and big sounding, but has all the characteristics that I need, and being able to roll down the volume. A lot of that has to do with your guitars, as well, your pickups, and how they respond. I always use a certain type of pickup or different pickups, and then put caps on them and resistors to treble bleed caps to get that sparkle out of it when I drop it.
Because I know that, which is awesome, you're playing like Gretches a lot of time for these shows.
The Gretches really work well with, because I needed something to sit around Slash's tone, and he's a higher gain, mine's just a bit cleaner, and these really sit around, the Filtertrons really sit around his tone nicely, and so does the same.
And are yours Filtertrons modded, or are they still kind of like a low output pickup still? Or?
They're lower output. It's more like a vintage PAF. They're made by Arcane. The pickups that I'm using are made by Arcane, the Filtertrons, as well as my humbuckers. And they're all lower output. They're all high sevens.
So did you do because I know you have like a ton of gear, did you do like a little clinic where it's like, okay, I know I have to sit somewhere where that Slash is not. So I'm going to try Strats, I'm going to try Dan Electros, I'm going to try. Did you try a whole bunch of stuff?
I did, and Tellies work all right with the right pickup. I'm using one Telly. I had originally tried, because I love Juniors, and I love the way Juniors clean up when you drop the bar. Especially the 50s Juniors, they get all sparkly and really beautiful sounding, chimey. But it was too much mid-range, I was competing with him. It was not working at all. So then it was a matter of just trying different guitars, and I'm a big Gretsch fan, and I tried it. It was like it just really fit well together.
Well, and also, as you mentioned too, it's like you really are kind of like in the studio when you're on stage because you've got in-ears, so you can hear it precisely. So
it's a lot different. Yeah.
Did you know immediately that you had to? Probably sounds like a dumb question, but okay, there's Slash, there's you. You knew immediately you had to have something happen, or did you actually go to rehearsals with some Les Pauls or the juniors and then figure out, something's not happening, or did it happen when you actually got the in-ears on and went, oh my God, we're clashing?
Yeah, that's really when, because that's like you're under the microscope at that point. You're really hearing all the detail, and hearing that with you as soon as I tried the juniors, I was like, yeah, this isn't good. And as soon as we tried the Gretches, it was like, okay, everything came together. Really, the pieces locked well. All right. So, I guess the most used guitar is probably the Gretches.
Okay.
And these Player Edition.
And now, are those? Did they tweak these for you, or is this right off the rack Player?
This is off the rack, and I love these guitars. Like, I'm so happy with these. The only thing that I've done is move the switch. I put a treble bleed cap on it that I'm very particular about. They already come with them with the.
With the treble bleed.
Yeah, but I'm very particular about the value.
So that's interesting. So like, what frequency range do you like to get then? A little less treble, I guess, because you're bleeding it off. Or no, actually,
it actually retains
more when it comes
the treble.
Down. Right,
so when you drop the volume, it gets sparkly.
Yeah.
Like old juniors. They're
because you do a lot of that. Because I mean, these days, a lot of people just keep them up. But Les Paul, for instance, would be fiddling with his knobs, 7,000 times within one song. So
and the thing is,
so you did that too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a 220 cap with a .002 or 001 resistor on the volume.
Okay. So you changed the cap and the resistors, and you put the arcane pickups in. But for the most part, this is what I could buy tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what? There's not a huge difference with the pickups. I like the Filtertrons that were in here. They're not the TV Jones ones, they're just the regular Filtertrons. I think they're great. I love Filtertrons.
And you don't need to worry about feedback per se because you're on in-ears and there's not a lot of stage volume.
Right, there's not a ton of stage volume.
Do you ever get the audience bleeding through your?
No, I have not. Do you have that problem?
No, I never have anybody screaming at me that loud, but I just thought, you get this place filled with people going, who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I do. But I don't notice it. This is a really cool Gretsch I just got. I bought this at Chicago Music Exchange.
Is that stock with the mother of toilet seat on it?
This is a one-off that Steven Stern made.
Okay.
And
that's beautiful.
At the custom shop.
Oh, I love.
This is a handmade one.
I love the binding too.
Isn't that cool? But my friend that runs CME called me and said, you have to check this guitar out. So when we went through Chicago, I was like, okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But I love it. Again, you had to move the switch and I put arcanes in it.
So is that just because your particular playing style or gets in the way for how you play?
Because I tend to play lower and be a bit more aggressive at times, and I end up broken this a few times. And then I have a Black Falcon, which is also a Player's Edition, and then I have another double cut black one that's not back here right now. That's also a Player's Edition.
So how do you kind of cast them? Is it just what you're feeling in any one moment? I mean, I guess this is the main one, but when would you go to the Black Falcon?
The black one the black one is a little darker and a little thicker sounding. I mean, guitars, it's like those subtle things. I mean, Slash has a whole rack of Les Pauls that he changes all the time for specific songs, because there's something about that guitar on that song that works really well. Just tonally, there's a character to that instrument. I mean, wood is wood, man. It's now, does it matter to anybody out there? No idea. I think most of this is just for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, that matters because obviously, you're delivering it to the audience.
Yeah,
you're feeling better.
But really, so much of what we obsess over, I really wonder if it has any bearing on,
Well, I mean, I used to always threaten at the magazine to go, all right, let's do a double-blind test, and you tell me whether that amp or that pedal sounds any different than this one or that one, and no one's ever taken me up on it.
Oh, we do it all the time.
But it's kind of it's kind of not fair though, because if it makes somebody play better, even if an audience can't hear it, or on a record you can't hear it, then it doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
It's really about you interacting with the instrument.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if a guitar turns you on because it looks a certain way.
Yeah, I'm all about that actually.
Hey, that's valid in my opinion.
I actually got a cheap red Gretsch, and there's this place that buys they have the faux, the pick guards and the truss rod guards. So I got like the Monkeys, because I'm in this like Hunky Monkeys band thing.
Okay. So you have the Monkeys pick guard?
So it looks like the Monkeys guitar. And people go, hey man, I've never seen a Monkeys Gretsch before. I go, well, you still haven't. It's just an Electromatic with some.
Right. But they did make a Monkeys Gretsch.
They did, yeah. They're like, $3,000. You can find them. Probably not even that good.
I just bought a 58 6120.
Wow.
Before they said patent applied for, and before the numbers obviously, because they had nothing on it. And those pickups, I was told, like, that's when you have to get it. And man, they are.
And it really was.
It sounds amazing. I have like 60s Gretches, and this is infinitely better.
Wow.
So 58. I have not compared it with the Arcanes. I'm really curious about that. Okay, so. Mostly what I'm playing is Gretches and then Scalas.
Okay.
There's this cat, Leo Scala, from LA, and he makes these amazing custom guitars that I've been working with him for a while now. This is one that we call the 445, and it's sort of my signature.
A solid body, or is it chambered?
It's chambered. It's more hollow than it is solid, but it has a solid body. Basically what I did was took a solid piece of mahogany and beveled it out, left the center block, and then put a maple cap on it. And then it's vented, so it only touches in key areas around. Isn't that cool?
That is wild. So what does that do to the sound, actually?
It makes everything, it makes it more alive sounding.
Isn't this like a port on a speaker or something? Or?
I don't know if I'd say it's like a port necessarily. But I guess it does function in the same way that
but I guess you are also, I guess the sustain, because you're not locked right to the wood, it's probably a difference there.
And it allows the maple, I think, to resonate more freely.
Oh, that's awesome. So maple's brighter than mahogany, so this is probably an awesome thing to have singing a little more than the mahogany.
Yeah, and I'm picking one up tomorrow from him that he's been working on with me. It's more like a jet. It's like a combination of a Junior and a jet.
So was that your idea, or did he just come up with it?
No, that's his idea. In fact, like if you look at, here's the best sounding Les Paul I've ever heard in my life. Better than any original burst that I've heard. And it's vented, and it's slightly chambered, though it's mostly solid. It's still got some weight to it. But yeah, it's just maple and mahogany.
Wow.
And this is just magical. His stuff is all, it has such a mojo to it. Like, I've never come across a modern builder that has that quality to it.
Now, does he work on everything himself as a one-man
Yeah, he does it all himself, Yeah, one-man shop for the most part. And I've got a white custom that he did for me. And his attention to detail is second to none, absolutely. And then I have one that's all ash. This one.
Well, that's interesting. So what's the timbre of that kind? Is it brighter? Or
it is very punchy.
Okay.
That guitar has so much attack to it, and we went through so many different pickups before we found these. And what's in there now are Alnico 8s, which is a very strong magnet, but with very few windings. So it's got a lot of detail, a lot of clarity, no definition within chords, but it's punchy, it's super attacky. And I've got it in drop D. It's actually half step down, drop D.
Okay.
Really works well in that tuning because it's so punchy.
But not overly bright punchy.
It's not.
Sweet punch.
And it's more low end and mid range than it is bright, actually.
Well, that's awesome. That's.
And then I also have a Telly that he made me that has.
And that's floating as well, the top? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also maple. You can see it's a flame maple underneath the black on a mahogany back. And then left-handed headstock, which I like. Awesome. On all my Strats and Tellys, I like left-handed headstocks because I like more tension on the low strings.
Okay.
And actually, another thing he did was this loads through the back. The bottom 3 strings load through the back, and the top 3 load through the top.
And so what's
so you have more tension on the lower strings, and they connect with the wood more and more resonant, whereas the top strings are easier to bend and a bit mellow. And that same theory applies to the angle of the pickup.
Okay.
Where it's brighter on the low end and tighter sounding.
So there's a recent Hendrix sound. This stuff. So it's amazing when you get someone who thinks about that and goes, "Well, how could I tighten up, like an E string or something?"
Again, to me, it makes a difference. To anybody else, I have no idea, but it inspires me. So.
Well, that's awesome.
Check this one out. This is made by this guy in Brooklyn, and Carbonetti it's called.
That's some headstock.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's the left-handed headstock, and it's got a cedar top, and again, an arcane Filtertron. Really, but sort of more pronounced mid-range. But the single pickup is really cool.
So what do you grab that for? Just
there's a couple of songs that it seems to really work well. It's more of a pronounced mid-range, whereas this is more of a scoop to me. It's more like low and top. And
so this is, are you changing guitars like every couple of songs, or crazy?
Yeah.
That's an awesome collection, though. That's quite a...
Yeah, and then this one is cool too. This was made by Phil Colleton out of Detroit, and just a single pickup 335, but really great sounding guitar.
It's a beautiful binding.
Yeah, I've been really happy with it. And then the other one is my baritone, which is made by a company called G-Sharp, and it's got gold foils, smaller gold foils in it. Very pawn shop looking.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then a Guild, the new Guild acoustics are amazing.
That's interesting. That's sad that you said that. Because I think they're coming on. I see Evolve. It's interesting because they kind of were away for a while.
Yeah.
And they seem to really be serious now.
I picked one up a while ago in a shop, and I was blown away by how beautiful it sounds. Really, and I'm a fan of the 70s ones, especially the 12s. And before this, I was using Collings, which I love in the studio. And I've got a few Collings, but it wasn't working out on the road.
So just the tone or the feel or
no, the tone's great. It's just that the necks don't hold up very well. This one's been a tank. The Guild's been a tank. No issues with it. Yeah, but with the Collings not having a truss rod.
Oh, okay.
It's just, they're too delicate.
Yeah, that's interesting because you think that, you know, if anyone's going to have their guitars taken care of, it's going to be you. You know, I mean, you're not thrown into a van and drown, but
Right,
it's interesting
but
that even still.
you know, when we're just now starting to play indoor shows. Prior to this, we were doing all outdoor gigs. So, you know, the humidity during the day in South America could be completely different than it is at night. By the time you know, the temperature change, when you come up, the next, you know.
Would you have something like that happen where it would feel good at sound check and then
it'd be
be
fun at sound check with the
show?
with that guitar specifically.
Okay.
But I notice it with other ones too.
Interesting.